Welcome to the October meeting of Commission on Aging. We're blessed today to have Jennifer Fava, who is the Director of the Darien Parks and Recreation Department. She's going to do a presentation using the podium and the monitor, so very impressive. Not something I would try, but I give you a lot of credit for doing that. It's going to be great, so very much appreciate you being here. Awesome, and she's got to step out after her presentation, so we'll say goodbye when she leaves, but she does have time for questions, Q&A, so we'll be good for that. Awesome. Thanks everybody for being here, and we do have a quorum, so we have a discussion of the September minutes. Any questions or changes? Peter?
I have a modification. In the first paragraph, it's just a couple of words, but let me read the first paragraph. The Aging and Disability Summit is Monday, October 6th at AquaTurf in Plantville. There are 425 attendees last year, and it is sold out. And then it says Mr. Eder will be speaking about artificial intelligence. That should be changed to will be moderating a panel about artificial intelligence as it relates to older and disabled people.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any
I'll
other?
report on that later.
I'd love to hear it. Awesome. Any other changes? You're good? Okay. Any other changes to the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the September minutes as modified? Mary, thank you. Second? Thanks, guys. All in favor? I appreciate it. Awesome. Now we turn to Ally for our Human Services and Mather Center report.
Okay, morning. So, energy assistance is well underway. Taking all the oil appointments first so that they can get deliveries starting November 1st. And then any utility, actually they start on Monday, that will start taking people who need utilities. Renter's rebate ended on September 30th. We had 41 applications and the expected grant amount is $17,154.86. So if you remember in past years I've said that the residents get a check mailed directly to them, so it's nice, and it's nice for the holidays. So they'll call our office asking about when the checks are coming, and we don't know any more than probably the beginning of November. Medicare open enrollment starts today, October 15th, and goes through December 7th. So this is the time of year, every year, that you can review your Medicare coverage, particularly your drug plans and supplement plans you can change any year, but your drug plans or your Medicare Advantage plans. So, you know, Cynthia, last year we were able, or 2 years ago, we were able to get a volunteer down in the senior center to help us because these are really time consuming. So we do have some, Cynthia and I are still, you know, we're still providing this service, but we ask that people call us as soon as possible if they want an appointment because we only have so many spots available because we usually just do one each a day.
And what phone number should they use?
656-7328.
Thank you.
So please don't wait till the last minute because we might be able to help you and then you'd have to call Medicare yourself and good luck.
Yeah, especially right now.
Exactly, that too, yes. Or you can actually call SWACA and they can help you also, but we like to be able to help people as much as we can. And usually we save people money. We have one active protective services case right now. As you know, those are time consuming and we work really closely with the social workers for protective services. We have our next QPR, the Question, Persuade, Refer training, which is to help people, to train people to how to deal with someone who might be experiencing a mental health crisis or having suicidal thoughts. It's on Monday the 20th at 12 o'clock in Town Hall Room 206. The loan closet, since I just did my quarterly report, I'm looking at Jen because you did yours too. Just for this quarter, we had 33 households use the loan closet and 11 of them had never used the service before, so happy about that. On to the Mather Center, we have another vaccine clinic coming up on Monday from 9 to 12. It's the Darien Health Department is sponsoring it, and Stop and Shop is the one who will be providing the vaccines. No appointments necessary, you bring your insurance card. The only insurance they don't accept is Aetna. Don't ask me why, it must be something with Stop and Shop and Aetna. Vaccines offered are flu, COVID-19, shingles, so if people got the first shingles vaccine, they can come back for the second one. Pneumonia, RSV, and Tdap. And I got the name, I was correct, I believe, last week, or last month, about the piano. So we're grateful to, it's the Joanna Hagee and her family who donated the baby grand piano downstairs. And we're about to get it tuned, I don't know if it was actually tuned yet. And then we're going to have people audition before they can play. I'm just kidding. Everyone's going to be big. No, so we hope that we have some talented members who will play for us.
Beyond chopsticks.
Yes, exactly. I could do that. I won't. one new thing that we're doing, I'll pass these around if you want to see, and then I'll attach it to the report. There's an agency, I don't know if you are all familiar with it, Peter, you probably are, it's called Caring Kind. It's based out of New York City, but now they just expanded to Connecticut. It's similar in a sense to the Alzheimer's Association, but they don't focus on research, and they provide services to families and people who are caring for someone with dementia. So this new program, and I think I gave you all of my sheets, so what does it say there? Oh. So they reached out, because we had actually, I had one of the women in charge, Michelle Piskin, who's doing the Connecticut chapter, come to one of our caregiver support groups and talk about what services they offer. And so they've just recently expanded into Fairfield County. So she asked if they could provide this service at the Mather Center, which we're going to do. So it's a 10-week program, up to 8 people. You have to commit to every week. It's not just a drop-in session. So it's from 11:30 to 1, starting next Wednesday. You do, and I have you contact them directly. I'll tell you their phone number. It's written on this flyer, which I'll attach to the report. It's 646, you see it, 744-2900 to register. And they value it at $350, but it's free from donations and fundraising that they have. So we're excited about that, and we'll continue to offer it. It's not just for Darien residents, it's for anyone who reaches out to their organization. And then after they complete the 10-week, they're able to come to a monthly ongoing support group. That Caring Kind runs it all. We're just providing the space, so I'm excited about that. What else? I'll just give you some quick statistics from the quarter. So for lunches in July, we had 537 lunches that we served, 170 were unduplicated. In August is quieter, plus we're closed for a week, 349 meals, 63 unduplicated. September, 522 meals, 97 unduplicated. July, program classes and events, 2,860, 208 unduplicated. In August, again lower, 1,812, 178 unduplicated. In September, we're back up to 3,241, 248 unduplicated people. So just thought I'd share that with you. But, and then a couple other highlights of things coming up, and then I'll be done. I already mentioned the clinic on Monday, the immunization clinic. Then on the 29th, we have a Meet the Candidates, so it's our local town government. John Zagrodsky will be there, Kathy Larkins, Joan Hendrickson, and Krista McNamara. They're running uncontested, but they're coming to talk about, to meet them and talk about the whole, actually before that, there's another date, I didn't put it on here, where, I think it's this week, where the registrar of voters are coming, sorry, I forget the date.
I think it's the 21st, isn't it?
Yeah, actually I have it here in the newsletter. The registrars are coming to talk about the early voting and the whole voting process and all of that, mail-in and all that kind of stuff. Hold on, I'm trying to find where it is. Yes, so the 21st at 12:45, so next Tuesday. On the 30th, we have a Halloween party and Jim Carter's Alumni Swing Band. And then on November 5th, Waveney Life Care Network is presenting on arrhythmias and how to learn about causes, symptoms, and when to seek care. November, we have our birthday party and Thanksgiving trivia, November 7th. AARP Smart Driving course is on November 13th. And then our big luncheon, our Thanksgiving luncheon, Thankful for You, is on November 19th. So if you are interested in signing up for that, please do as soon as possible because it's limited. I think the number is like 130, maybe 150. It usually gets pretty full, so it's fun. And then we have local town department heads helping to serve and we eat with you, so it's always a fun event. And one more thing, 2 more things. November, we're closed on election day, but open for obviously voting. And we're closed on November 11th for Veterans Day and the Thanksgiving holiday, obviously on Thursday and the day after, Friday the 28th. So quite a few closings, but
Yep.
it had to be done.
Thanks, Alan. Any questions?
Okay.
One additional important meeting relating back to Medicare.
Mhm.
So SWACA is
Yes.
going to be here, I think it's, you can check, October the 27th, to talk about their Choices program and open enrollment.
Yep,
And I think this year, probably expect to be even busier given what's happening or isn't happening in government.
yep,
Is it the 27th?
yep, I just found it, October 20th, thank you, Peter. You should help me write my reports, because you always have more to add. I should consult with you.
No, thank you.
Yes, Monday, the 27th at 12:45, SWAC is presenting about open enrollment.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, thanks, Ally. And now, without further ado, Jen Fava, our Director of the Darien Parks and Recreation Department. The podium is yours.
We'll see, let's see if technology works.
Pressure's on.
Ah, nice.
We're getting there. So, thank you for having, this is gonna be hard to see with the glare. Thank you for having me come. As you said, my name's Jen Fava, I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation. I was here, I don't know, almost a year and a half now. So I was asked to cover a couple of topics. First of all, some of our park facilities and accessibility, our beach permits for seniors, and then just I threw in some extra perks that might be of interest to seniors and things that we help do for for our residents. So one of the things that we installed, unfortunately due to the budget cycle, with the budget only coming due in July 1st, we did put in for Moby mats. These were put in right at the end of the beach season, so they have been taken out for the season. They'll get put in again for next beach season. And these are accessible mats to help people get right down to the water. So they're great for wheelchairs, anybody with any kind of mobility issues, and just everyday people, usually lugging coolers or things like that. But it makes it much easier to walk on the sand. So we have one at Weed Beach right now, and we have one at Pear Tree. And something else to just let you know about and let everybody know about is that we do have beach wheelchairs. So they're made specifically to be used on the sand. So we do have one of those at each beach. So if somebody's interested in using that, simply just talk to the lifeguards and they can help out and assist you with that. So that's one thing that we've done that I'm pretty happy about. And we'll see how much usage they really get come next season. One of the other things we've done is over the last couple of years, we've been redoing the playgrounds. So this is important not only for the kids, but also for the caregivers. And I thought this was an important thing to mention here in case any seniors have grandchildren that are either live here and they want to take them to one of the parks, or someone that's visiting. So we have McGuan Playground. And this is going to probably mean nothing to any of you, but in my world it's something. So McGuan Playground has a completely poured-in-place surface, so it's like a big rubberized surface for the entire playground. And McGuan is at 221 Narodanap. We also had last summer Cherry Lawn Playground that was redone. So as you can see, we have walkways that go up to both playgrounds. There are 2 play areas. The one on the bottom is for 2 to 5-year-olds, so those are for the little kids, and the upper one is for 5 to 12-year-olds. So these play areas were put in, and the usage has skyrocketed. Everybody's loving it. It's pretty cool, actually, especially the top one. You can go up in the higher level. But again, we wanted to make sure that things were accessible. So not only do we have these, you can see there's a mixture of poured in place. The blue is the poured in place rubber, and then the other pieces are engineered wood fiber, which is also considered ADA accessible. So there's a mix of that, and the reason for that, in case anyone's wondering, is the cost of poured in place is extremely expensive. So it helps us to save a little bit of money by mixing it. And then we also put in, as you can see in the upper right, we added that whole little patio, and we have accessible tables there, so that you can go in straight from here, from the parking lot, go up. You can have the seating area, which is also shaded, and then you can also have access into the other play area. And then most recently, trying to think, we finished this just before the summer, Baker Park. So that play equipment was completely replaced. Also swings were added. And then we added in this concrete walkway because we realized, well, you're out in the middle of the lawn, which is not accessible. So we had to have a way to get people from the parking lot to the play areas. This, it's hard to see in the pictures, but this is now, again, using the engineered wood fiber, but then it's got some different types of matting that's put down on top of it to make it accessible. And again, this way, this playground as well has taken off. There's people there constantly now, so it's become very busy. So again, it's not only great to get children that might have accessibility issues, but also for the caregivers, grandparents. We're seeing everybody use that. You know, because it's not always fun to just have to be, as a grandparent, just sitting back or not being able to go and partake in the fun that their grandchildren are having. Another spot is Highland Farm. This is not a park. It's not included in our system. It is through the through the Selectman's office. However, we do maintain it and basically operate it. We permit it on their behalf. But this is something we have. It's a half-mile loop. So for those that are looking to not maybe get hit by cars or have to worry about dodging them on the way, again, it's fairly level. Nice loop. There are some benches throughout it. Just make sure you put your sunscreen on because it's not much shade here. But again, there's a nice walking path that is accessible. So one of the other things that you might have been hearing about is one of our big projects that's about to kick off, our Peachtree Beach Park improvements. So we recently received funding for this project of about $9 million. Actually have a kickoff meeting this week, and we look to start construction right at the beginning of November, with it being completed in the beginning of May. And with this, there's the raising of the parking lot to help reduce the flooding issue that we have over there. And actually this weekend was a good example. The whole lot was, we had a ton of sand in there that we had to push back this yesterday and take care of that. You could see where the high tide kind of came and it was almost to the road. So not only are we raising the parking lot, the boat launch area is being redone for the slope because it's currently not at the proper slope, so it's hard to launch the boats. There's some dredging that's going to happen up around that corner. And then what ties into this conversation is, again, to help make it safer and more accessible, there are sidewalks that are being put in along the front of each parking area. And then this down here is an accessible picnic area. So not only will it have accessible tables, but also accessible grills. So if someone were to be say in a wheelchair, they could actually still grill and do all that because it's made to function for them. So that's kind of an exciting.
Jen, you got one question.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
how high are you raising the parking lot?
It's only about 18 inches. It's not raising
So
it is
people are going
probably,
to have to go up as they come in,
No,
or to the
it's-
road level, or?
no, it's probably not the right way to term it. It's really leveling it out. What happens right now is there's a low point. There's a catch basin somewhere in this area. So there's a low point. So it ends up, the water comes up and over and then everything fills up. So you won't notice it going in there and it's not going to push everything onto the road. There's going to be a little bit more beach that's put in, so you'll get a little bit more of an angle, but it's only about 18 inches. So, but it'll just help keep with the
And
flooding.
this is going to be soil with pavement over it?
Yeah, it's going to look just like it does today. You probably won't even notice too much other than the trees. There's some grasses that are being put in to also help stabilize the beaches, the beach area. We're not doing dunes, but it's areas so that we know as the process went through, it was very important for people to be able to pull up into their cars. That's what everybody kept hearing. They want to be able to sit in their cars and still be able to see out, so there won't be anything blocking the views. Any vegetation will be low enough so that it's below your sight level.
And is anything happening to the buildings?
No,
Question. So are they doing blacktop again?
Yes.
Or is it permeable? Why don't they use more permeable materials?
to do permeable here would not make any sense, because permeable means it's got little crevices and things like that for water to come through. And a beach area like this, just from sand and everything else, it's gonna blow on that and it just clogs it up, so you're paying a lot more money, and within a short period of time, it's not gonna serve the purpose that you put it in for, so. Alright. So then, we have our ADA access audit. So, the town recently, let me back up. The town is a member of WestCog, which is a group from throughout the state, and it's the western area. There are 18 different communities that are a part of, that make up WestCog. And it was determined that I think a lot of municipalities didn't have transition plans in place. So WestCog went out and hired WT Group to come around and do access audits for everyone and create transition plans. So 16 out of the 18 communities decided to participate in this. Two of the communities had already done this on their own. So we've just gone through this. They have gone through and done an evaluation of all of the facilities, so all town buildings, parks, programs, looking at website, at meetings, right? So there are ADA requirements for all those types of things. So they have gone through, they presented this final report to the Board of Selectmen on September 29th. And actually just last week, on October 6th, the Board of Selectmen accepted that report. It is a decently long document. It can be found on the town's website. And basically what's happening now is, now that we have that, it's being turned over to staff for us to then implement. They've given their recommendations. I will say that the estimated cost to do the different retrofits is over $3.6 million. So this is going to be a multi-year, multi-pronged approach. So we're going to be taking a look at what's our threshold, how do we prioritize? It's not something we're going to be able to do all at once. Some things might be simple. It might be, the placement of a garbage can is too close to a doorway, so it's not accessible. Easy to solve that one, you move it. They gave us very detailed descriptions of everything. It could be in the bathrooms, the toilet paper dispenser is not in the right location, the grab bars are not in the right location. Could be that slopes in the parking lot are not in compliance. So there's a whole lot of things that we're gonna have to be looking at. And I think it's great because it also put everything on everybody's radar so that we're also a little bit more cognizant about it when we're building new facilities, right? And making new projects and improvements to make sure that we're in compliance. And I thought it was just an interesting note that the incidence of disability is 3 times greater for those over 65 than for the general public. So clearly it is for this, it impacts this population greatly. So along to beach permits. So, as I'm sure you know, residents are entitled to 1 free beach permit per household if you're 65 or older. So you are required to be 65 before Labor Day of that year, and we do require proof of age for that first year. Then it's in our system, so we know in future years. You can get more than 1 permit, but at that point you're paying whatever the prevailing rate is for those. And again, they can be purchased either online, in person, or by application in the mail. Not only can you get the beach permit, but if you're someone who does not drive, we have a caregiver pass that you do have to come into the office for. And what that is, we give you a pass, and that's for someone that might go to the beach with a friend or a caregiver, and then that senior must have that, that pass on them when they come. So the caregiver wouldn't be able to just come in, the senior actually has to be in the car with them and have that in hand. So, yep.
I'd just like to thank you. You guys give us a beach pass for each of our automobiles. So At Home in Darien drives seniors to the beach during the summer and even in the fall, so we appreciate that.
Great.
Jen,
Yeah.
a comment on that as well. Why not uncomplicate the caregiver pass? At Home in Darien, if you're 60 years of age or older, you have a card, which we use for discounts at restaurants. Why not tie that in? And the reason I say that is for Kathy and I, Weed Beach is our club. We use it all year round. I think this time we went swimming 22 days. We love saltwater swimming. We use the beach in the wintertime. What you said about dunes is so true, but again, when they don't mow them down, you can't see them, so
Yep.
maintenance is important. But what I'm suggesting is just simplify that, because different members of my family, different my daughters or my grandchildren might volunteer, and it becomes very complicated. Why not just give a senior that wants one a pass so that they can then use it? And the proof, of course, is they have to be sitting in the car.
So you mean, instead of giving us a sticker to all those 65 people, or 65 and over, give them a card
Yeah.
instead?
And just eliminate that extra step of somebody having to come in and show their license plate and prove and get the piece of paper. Just would be simpler. I don't think there are many seniors that want to sneak people into the beach that are not members. Just a thought.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. That's something for us to think about. We do give a surprisingly large amount of free emblems. I was shocked when we were doing the numbers, so we'll see.
Good.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Sure. And again, it's just, so when you get ready to come in with your information, if we don't go that route, for 2026, they'll be available starting in early March. It's just a couple other perks for seniors that you may not know about. If you are a paddle tennis player, we do have free play for seniors, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And if you want to make a reservation for that, you would simply call the Paddle Hut directly at 203-656-7350. Unfortunately, you can't do that online, because if you do it online, it's going to make you pay. But if you want to get that for free, again, that Monday through Friday time frame between 9 and 5, you're welcome to do that. Courts just opened this past Monday, so we're open for the season from Columbus Day through late March. And then something else that we have is we do have standing advanced block reservations, so you can book for the entire season. And again, for seniors, that would be free if you're doing that in that time frame of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So if someone is interested in that, you're welcome to go on to either the website or in the office and get the information, and we can help you with that. Also for tennis. So typically you don't need a reservation, or you don't have to pay to use our tennis courts. So again, we do some sort of block reservation is available for tennis courts that we do charge a fee for. So if you're looking to do that between April and October, again, it would be free for seniors. We waive that fee if you're doing that during the weekdays. And again, that information will be available in early March. And then just for pickleball, we do have the courts at Cherry Lawn. That, again, we have some seniors, 65 plus, open play on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9 to 10:30, and we reserve 2 courts for that. So that means anybody, you can go and just kind of drop in and you rotate in for play. And then just one last shameless plug, which has nothing to do with seniors, but on Sunday we are having our first Halloween pup parade and costume contest at Tilly Pond Park. So if anybody has their canine friends and you want to dress them up, there will be prizes being given for certain prize categories, one including best matching owner and canine dog. We'll also have a live pumpkin carver, also a giant pumpkin that is the actual pumpkin in that truck, and to guess the weight, and we'll have some canine dog with the police dogs demonstrations and a few other things, and some vendors and sponsors, and the town clerk's office will also be there to talk about dog licenses and things like that. So that's just my last little shameless plug, and with that, happy to take any questions.
Just one question. How the tabling of the road development at Great Island, is it tabled, meaning they're not going to keep working on the road access? Or are they going to continue to work? They're just tabled to...
So Great Island, like Highland Farm, is not a park. So we're not really involved with it at this point. That is through the selectman's office. But the roadway in is not tabled. That they're still working on that. What was tabled, because I happened to be sitting there during that meeting when I was trying to get funding for Weed Beach and Pear Tree, was kind of the first phase to try to figure out additional design and things for phase one, which I believe included some restrooms, parking,
Yeah.
And some other aspects. So that's what was tabled at this point. So it wasn't
The
shut
road.
down,
Yeah.
and the road is still underway right now.
Yeah, there's just so much equipment there, they gotta keep it moving.
Yeah, no, that part is still going. It's just the next phase.
And absolutely should be. In other words, the only way seniors can really access that current non-park
Correct. Correct.
is by having that driveway go through, because, as we all know, you can only access it by pedestrian at the moment, thanks to, and park over at Weed Beach and see how far you can walk.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's a good
Yeah.
thing that is continuing.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it will be important to get that parking in there. I mean, you can have the road, but if you can't park
Right.
somewhere,
Correct.
it does make it very limiting for seniors or anybody, because it's a hike just to get there. So hopefully we'll see. I believe they just asked them to kind of go back and rework a few things and bring it back. So at least it's not a dead issue, but then they're continuing to move along with the road. Anything else I can share by words of wisdom?
We appreciate you being here. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for coming. It was fascinating to see all of the various things I honestly did not know about. The free paddle tennis, the free tennis. It's really great stuff. So thanks, Jen. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
You're good. You're good. Great. While she's shutting down, Peter, I know you've got some old business.
Yeah, actually nothing to report with AARP, which is kind of strange. They're just trying to figure out where they're going and where they need to go. So there'll be more of that. The Aging and Disabilities Connecticut Summit, which sadly Ally missed. Let
My
me
father
talk
was in the
about that.
hospital, I wanted to go,
Oh,
but I couldn't.
I know you did. The footnote Jen put up on her presentation was so fascinating in a way. Do you know how many people turn 65 every day in this country now? Want to guess?
No idea.
11,000.
11,000?
11,000 people turn 65.
That's still a
And when we did the summit, this is the third year, and we looked, and we decided to add disability to the aging because there's such a synergy of that, given the fact that we're living longer and the fact that people with disabilities are living longer. So there's going to be much more focus on that. So again, I applaud the town for what it's doing with ADA, because I think it's so important. So that's Edge. The meeting was interesting. It was completely sold out. A lot of it was grit and collaboration and taking a stand, which is really not normal, if you will, but just given the political climate. the fact that to get things done, to look at what's happening with shrinking budgets and coverage, grit, collaboration, and determination. And determination being in the polling booth, and that's why we're stressing there's so much voting. Yeah, at the moment, we may be in a fairly good shape as a state, but we don't know. But what we should be doing as seniors is we should be turning out and voting to make sure that what erosion happens does not have to affect us. I'll just give you one quick example. We had a panel there of state leaders, and they were talking about their organizations, and they essentially said that if you call for a service, do not expect to talk to a person on your call. Because in department after department, people have been cut, so people are not accessible to phones. The point was, when it says leave a message, don't hang up. Leave a message, and somebody will call you back. And they're finding, for example, a great fall off when people say, I'm not going to leave a message because I want to talk to somebody. So they're calling in the morning or at lunch in the afternoon. They're still not getting an answer. So again, so important for our viewers too. If you have a question for an agency, the agencies that are still in business, and most of them are reduced from how they provide help, but the automation works. The really interesting thing was the only number that is where you guaranteed a call by a human being, answered by a human being in 10 seconds, is a suicide hotline.
988.
988. So if you're calling 988, within 10 seconds you'll be speaking to a human. Important.
Let me just interject you about that also, not the 988 part, but similar to DSS, when residents call our office asking for help, we tell them just to go down to DSS in Stamford, because they'll be on hold for, could be hours.
DSS.
Department of Social Services.
I did the panel with artificial intelligence, and it was really interesting. Dr. Paul Wright, who is a neurology specialist and heads Nuvance's neurology programs, was the speaker. And while he didn't speak as much as we had wanted to about robotics, he did speak about artificial intelligence and how it affects his work, and talked about some amazing devices now that are available. For example, to monitor your body and to deal with migraine headaches, for example. And the simple thing he talked about was telehealth. And he's a great speaker, he speaks all over the world, I guess. He talked about, he weaves his patients' stories into telehealth, and he's a neurologist. And he was saying how important it is to him personally, especially since COVID. Because he said, I have a patient with neurology, I have them in the office, I ask them about their house, and they give me yeah, everything's okay, oh, I got a flight of steps to do. He said what he tries to do when he's at the end of his health visit with this person, say, hey, can you walk me around the house? Can you show me what's going on in your house? Kind of what at home in area can do with people at houses. So, a very practical. Unfortunately, the government has shut down telehealth development programs. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle. The two other things, voting. Again, voting is important, and thank you, Ally. The first day of voting, in-person voting, is October 20th, and it goes October 20th, November 2nd. It's in Town Hall, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Tuesday, October 28th, it's 8 to 8, and the same thing on Thursday, October 30th, it's 8 to 8.
That's in this room, right?
Is it?
I believe so.
It probably is. It was last year, so I don't know where it's going to be, but it probably is here.
I think it is.
So that's so important. And then the last thing I wanted to speak briefly about is this Commission on Aging. Eric Rosenberg, is just a recently retired doctor and is the Commission on Aging, put actually the Commission on Aging together for East Hampton. is really leading an effort to see if an informal organization could be built for commissions on aging members, okay? There is a conference on municipalities, for example, in the state that has members. There's a council of town clerks, there's an association of town clerks. Is there one for senior centers, Ally?
There is, you mean for the statewide?
Yeah.
Yes, it's called CASC, C-A-S-C-A. I forget what the acronym is, yes.
Are you a member?
Yeah.
But it's an individual member, right?
Well, no, it's all, just similar to human services, the social workers have something called CLASS, so it's all the human service directors or all the senior center directors via email. They do have some in-person meetings
Okay.
occasionally.
Yeah. Well, what Eric is suggesting is that, because, and I asked you before we went on camera, did we ever have a commission on aging? And you said no. He feels that the time might be right, so what he's trying to do is ascertain how many people, and it wouldn't just be commissions on aging, because one of the things that's changed is a number of towns, commissions on aging have gone away as towns have restructured and reorganized, creating new organizations. And again, these people tend not to be connected. So one of the things he did at the luncheon was he had a couple of tables at the luncheon, and just the people that were there at the summit. Just to review some of the towns: Stonington, Lyme, Old Lyme, Colchester, Marlborough, East Hartford, Hebron, Weston, Greenwich, West Hartford, Windsor. All were there and essentially at least wanting to find out what's going on. So more to come on that. Personally, I'm not going to give an opinion as to whether I think it's needed or not. But again, I think somebody's at least exploring it and people are raising their hands and saying, hey, I'd like more information, because I'd like more help.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, I encourage any member of the Commission on Aging that thinks that this is a good idea to reach out to Peter, reach out to this guy. And certainly, hearing what they're doing is very valuable.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be yours truly, that I can say, that I got enough trying to keep Darien and everybody else happy over here. So worrying about the state and that of nature, and the reason why I can say that is because of Peter. That Peter brings us all the state news, so I find it very hard to believe this guy's gonna bring me more news than you do, Peter.
The other thing, remember, I'm not going to be here forever
Am I
either.
right? Yes, I am. Okay.
You can run it, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm retiring.
No.
Just a sentence of what he's thinking about would be fostering communication, providing education and resources, promoting best practices, and again, serving as an advocate for aging services in the state, particularly those dealing with local communities and municipalities.
Right, good stuff. I wish him well.
And one last thing, tomorrow, Ally's being honored by SWACA.
Yes, the focal point, thanks to you, Joe,
Yeah,
yes,
well.
at the Inn at Longshore.
Nice, have
Yes,
fun.
thank
That'll be
you.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
good
looking forward to
location.
it for breakfast.
Very cool. Thank you,
That's it,
Peter.
yeah.
Any questions for Peter? Hearing none. Chris, what's going on at home in Darien?
Well, to follow up, Peter, your point on the state agencies, if people call at home in Darien, I would say probably 98% of the time during office hours, they will speak to somebody. And if not, they'll get a call back very quickly.
Human services too, we answer our phones.
That's right.
But it's really a great point.
Yeah, it is important.
Absolutely.
No, it is important. I don't mean to make light of that. Three real quick things. This coming Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the parking lot down here, we are going to celebrate our 50,000th ride.
Wow.
Transportation is not all we do, but it's a pretty important service that we do. So 50,000 rides, and we're going to celebrate that just outside of the Mather Center in the parking lot down there. And we will have our 50,000th rider, which we are just about to complete. So we will identify who that person is, celebrate, acknowledge not only the rides but the rider. That event really reflects not just present day at home and Darien services, but everybody who's been a part of the organization, who supported the organization. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be a very quick celebration. If it's inclement weather, Ally's been gracious enough to to allow us to go into the Mather Center to celebrate that. So be some snacks and some non-alcoholic drinks, and we look forward to that. Two things that are real central to our organization that are coming up. One is, and I've mentioned this at the past meeting, I think, pickleball event that we're having. We don't do a lot of events, but we are doing one on Saturday, November 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Pickleball America. And we've had some businesses who stepped up to sponsor us, and we look forward to promoting those businesses and acknowledging their support of the organization. But we're really looking for players, players of all levels. Pickleball, we are going to have a couple of pros who are going to be there, who are going to be doing free lessons, and so any beginner who wants to learn all about pickleball, it's a craze, it's growing, and so we want to welcome everybody to that event. So please, you can go on our website, we've got a dedicated page to the pickleball events, and give us a call also, okay? Then, really every year.
Can I just interject?
Oh, yeah.
Pickleball America is in the old mall, it's in the,
Stanford Mall.
yeah,
Yeah.
right where Saks Fifth Avenue used to be. So
Yeah.
you can park right underneath and take an elevator right up to the space.
Yeah, and that's a great point. We've already spoken to some people who are gonna come just to support and maybe have a glass of wine, a beer, hang out and socialize. We're gonna have some great food that's going to be provided for the guests and the participants. So it'll be a real event, and hopefully we'll get as many people as possible. And then what's most central to us is our annual appeal, which is the second phase of that. We send letters out to people in the community in May, and then reach out again in November. People who have supported us will receive that letter, which is being developed and will go out at the beginning of November. We remain an organization that is almost exclusively funded by the town. I will have to say, I don't think, and this, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I don't think the town of Darien elicits sympathy from organizations and entities outside of Darien. So being supported by Darien is critical to really our survival and the support. So we'll look forward to reaching out to the community and continuing the services that we provide. So,
Awesome.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Hearing none, old business? What you got?
Well, I did go to the Housing Authority meeting in a few Tuesday nights ago, and we brought up the snow removal issue that we've been concerned about, and I didn't really get much reception of them tackling this idea. They continue to feel that their vendors will not be willing to clear off the cars of the seniors, even the handicap spaces. Peter Bigelow is now the new chairman. Joe Warren has stepped down, but he is still on the commission. They have added Fred Conzi, which is great that we've got another able-bodied supporter on board there. But I really made no progress or in having them promise that they would pursue this with any great passion. However, I even said, if you can't find a vendor, I'm willing to start looking for vendors. I can't believe that there isn't a snowplower out there who'd be willing to clear the cars. They had one for 20 years and suddenly they claim because of liability that they are no longer willing to do it. But we discussed having waivers for the handicapped spaces, about scratching cars, which was the issue. And so we need to keep the pressure up on this and pursue it, again.
Chris?
Yeah, so question, so if their position is they're unwilling to do this because of liability.
They're claiming that their snowflower vendors are not going to be willing
Okay.
to do it.
Would they be willing to underwrite the costs if the organization or At Home in Darien is able to get somebody to do that with whatever waiver is necessary? That way, they still have some skin in the game and they will, so that'll be interesting, because if they're not willing to do that, then it's not because of liability, it's because they don't want to spend the money.
Well, I suggested that this was the issue, and, they just, we'll look into it was the response.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to be on top of them and make sure that they do look into it and find a vendor who is willing to clean the cars. Another issue that came up at the same time was one woman said that she's been waiting for more than several years to get a handicap space. And I'm not sure how many handicap spaces they have, but they probably could use more. And I don't know whether that is something that's dictated by their bylaws or what have you. Do you have any, I should probably look further into this, because
Parking's
this
an
is,
issue there, period. Even
this
visitor
is-
spots, there's not enough spots.
this is something else I think we should probably dig into
Well,
and,
let's pick one problem at a time. Okay, I don't wanna borrow the handicap space problem at the moment. It's now October, I'm trying to figure out, this winter, what can we do? So let me ask you a question, Chris. I'm trying to think of two vendors now, and not just one, okay? In other words, the question is, how much would it cost for At Home in Darien, whenever there's a snowfall, to send somebody out there, quite frankly, ahead of these plows, okay, to scrape off these people's cars, and I'm gonna assume, I'm guessing no more than 10 spaces. I mean, that's obviously something to look at, it'd be per space, obviously.
I doubt they're even 10.
Okay,
I
5,
don't think
right?
there's any test,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's call it 5 spaces, just for laughs and giggles. The question on the table is, do you think, Chris, you could find a vendor, somebody, just the 5 spaces, I'm not talking about plowing the whole freaking place, they can keep their same people, right? And find somebody and get us a cost, okay? For our November meeting, what would it cost for At Home in Darien to clean off those, and I'll circle back to you when we figure out how many spaces there are, I can check that pretty easily. To do this, because I think we need to bring it to them and say, okay guys, okay, we've solved this problem for you. We need you to kick in X amount of dollars per snowstorm to At Home in Darien. Call it a charitable contribution, call it whatever you want, okay? Or we need to do some fundraising or something else of that nature. Because the good news is global warming is killing off a lot of these storms.
Last winter we were pretty lucky.
But right, last year was great. So the point is, for those 4 or 5 storms where there's a plowable snowfall, which we get now, okay, how much per snowfall would At Home in Darien need to pay some person to take care of this? And it should be one person. I would think that if I were younger and more physically fit, I could do it myself. But at the end of the day, how much would it cost? And so if you can bring that back to us at the November meeting, because to be blunt, Sue, we're banging our head against the wall. I think that keep saying, oh, please do it, oh, please do it. They're clearly, Peter or anybody else is clearly saying, we can't find a vendor who's willing to do it. So we gotta go around them at some level. And now make it embarrassing for them. We have now found you somebody.
And one other little interesting legal issue that came up, one of their staff said, well, because of fair housing, we can't discriminate and clean off the
I find that
handicap
complete
cars.
BS.
Is that
I find that complete
legally
BS.
a tenable position?
No, and I also say secondarily that if we find a third party, in this case At Home in Darien's vendor, willing to do it, they've got nothing to say about that. In other words, the question is, how much does it cost is the big question, right? So let's circle back in November. We'll make that our main topic, if not the only topic in November. How much does it cost per snowfall to clean off the handicap spots in this place? And then to go back to them and say, okay, it's gonna cost you, let's call it $5,000 for laughs and giggles, okay? Can you guys come up with $5,000? No, we can't. So then we've got to decide, how do we handle that on our own as the Commission on Aging? Is this something we raise money for. We've got to be careful, because my next bet is that somebody else is watching on TV 79 going, I live in a handicapped space, why don't you come clean up my snow in my handicapped space? So we have to be careful, right? In other words, it can't just be for this place, but if they're willing to do it, right, and we can get them, and we can find them a solution, it just becomes a question of cash.
Well, this is Darienne's one affordable housing for seniors. so-
Understood. I'm just
Yeah,
simply
this
saying,
is-
if I'm sitting in a private place and I'm a senior, and I'm hearing the Commission on Aging talking about raising money to clean off somebody's part, I'm also saying, why aren't you raising money to clean off my, right?
In any case, I think I will circle back to Peter
Okay.
and say that we are working on
Good.
this. And maybe they have another solution, but in the meantime, we'll be looking for a vendor who will do it.
Right, and I'm only looking for a vendor to do that 5
Handicap.
spaces,
Handicap
right?
space, okay.
Exactly, not for the whole place, because I think that's probably contractual. That's probably already signed contract for 25, 26. So as a result, any new contractor for the whole freaking place would likely be 26, 27.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yep.
Great. You're up, Chris, thank you.
Alright.
And again, I'll drop you an email once I find out how many handicap spaces there are.
I can find out.
Okay, so Sue will touch base with you, Chris, to make sure, so you have a good number. Great, awesome, thank you. Any questions for Sue on this wonderful project? Hearing none, thanks for bulldogging this, we appreciate it. It's a fascinating thing, right? You wouldn't think it'd be this hard, but things are hard sometimes, so they should be easy. Okay, cool. Other old business? Hearing none. Any new business? Hearing none, we are gonna hit this right on. Thank you guys very much, another great meeting. We will see you in November, and again, we look forward to hearing a report on Chris on snow and whether he can find somebody. If he can't, I get it.
Oh, no, we've got people, yeah,
Okay.
we've got some options.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. There we go. Love it. This is what we call synergy. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in November.
Thank you, Joe.